time for one of our favorite segments. We keeping it 100 with none other than James Fortune. What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Good to be with you. Thank you for having me, man.
James, you are known for just the guy who's the worship leader, worshiping us out of our mess.
Yeah.
And, you know, I called you America's worship pastor for a little while when I first came. But let's talk about, you go through it, you go through what you're going through, you're going through the court system.
Yeah.
And then you plea.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Guilty. Yeah.
Why guilty?
I pled guilty because I was guilty. Now, you know, I never said I didn't do anything. It was a time for me when I was, you know, just going through prayer, and I'm like, I knew my wife, you know, didn't have any broken bones. I knew I didn't beat her with a bar stool.
Right.
But I know that I was physically abusive to my wife on October 23rd, 2014. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't going to go to court claiming my innocence when I wasn't. And it was hard, man. It was hard for me to get to that place and even sharing that, you know, because everybody was like, don't talk about it, you know, just hopefully people will forget about it, don't talk about it. And so
that's Big Med. Big Med was like,
yeah,
because Big Med was your producer, and so when you came in the first time, he was just like, what are you doing? You cannot talk about this. And now you're able to talk about it, and so you pled guilty because you were guilty.
Yeah, because I knew that I had been abusive. I made the decision. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. A lot of times everybody make mistakes. What I've learned in therapy over these last almost 2 years is that mistakes are something that are done unintentional. Mm-hmm. You know, you leave home and forget to turn the oven off. That's a mistake. You know, you accidentally forget to send an email. That's a mistake. Abuse is a choice that you make. It's a bad decision. It's a decision that you choose, knowing that it's wrong, but you do it anyway. So God kind of took me to Matthew chapter 6, because I was like, I don't really want to talk about this. I don't really want to share this. I know, you know, 85% of relationships are dealing with one of these 18 forms of abuse, but I don't want to deal with it. That's somebody else's issue. I'm gonna let victims continue to talk about it. Me as an abuser, I'm not going to talk about it. God took me to Mark chapter 6. The man with the withered hand. He's sitting in church in a synagogue with a withered hand. Jesus is like, come forward. He's like, wait a minute, I don't want to come forward. Everybody gonna know my issue. I'm just trying to chill in the back and hide my issue like we do in church. He's like, no, come forward. Not only did he do that, when the man got to the front of the synagogue, he said, now stretch forth your hand. Now what that was going to do, that was going to make people see his issue, see his weakness, expose the thing that he had been hiding from church people from all this time. But Jesus was basically saying, once you stretch out that withered hand, then I'm going to heal what you've always been afraid to reveal. So for me, it was like, I'm just stretching out my withered hand. This was my issue. I was abusive. And when we talk about 18 forms of abuse, I was abusive emotionally, you know, psychologically, verbally, and that was my issue. And God has begun to heal me. God has begun to just change my whole thought process about it, because I've not been afraid to talk about it and help other brothers who are out there saying, you know what, I've been abusive in my home.
Yeah. Domestic violence, you ended up in a jail cell.
Yeah.
When you were in that jail cell, being such a well-known gospel artist, what were people in the jail cell thinking as they're looking on the news and then they see you?
Everybody in the jail, you know, that was coming up to me was, you know, at first initially was, why are you here? What happened? What are you doing? You know, James Fortune, you know. But the news reports started coming on, and people started, you know, talking to me about what had happened, and they was praying for me. I mean, from the cops and everything. But what blessed me, I was able to sit there, you know, for a few days and talk to some brothers who were going through some serious things of their own, and a lot of them were asking me for prayer. That was difficult, because you can imagine what I'm going through in there. I'm like, you know, just feeling sorry for myself and feeling like I don't have any light at the end of the tunnel. Like, what reason do I even have to live now? But God gave me the strength to be able to pray for them, and it was just hard. I've ministered in jails and prisons. You know, me and Fayed, we've gone to prisons and ministered to people, and now I'm in there as an inmate. You know, with the same, we got on the same clothes.
That's good stuff. Top 3, Crystal Lee.
First, you know, I just want to say I'm really, really proud of you. As I'm sitting next to you, I really feel your spirit of genuineness. And
man, it feels genuine,
It feels
James.
very, very genuine. And there's a lot of people texting me and messaging me saying I have so much more respect for you. And so what I want to ask you is about your kids. What conversation do you have with your kids when this happens? And have you talked to them about abuse?
Man, it was tough. Man, my daughter's just... to have to try to explain to them.
It's all good, man. I know it's really, really tough, especially when you talk about children. Trying to explain to them, you know, what happened, and them forming their own opinion.
The best thing you can do for your children is to love their mother. and to let them down in that way.
I see the pictures on your social media. I see the smiles on their faces. They love Daddy. They love Daddy.
Yeah.
But that's been the hardest part, man.
Right.
Like, just my son and my daughters, for them not to think that's okay. Because they may end up in the same type of relationships. And I thank God, man, from what I can tell and from what we've been getting back, is that they're doing, they're doing fine. And they're telling me they're okay.
And they're not going to end up in the same type of
Yeah,
relationships.
they won't. We serve a God. We speak against that in the name of Jesus. As we wind down, glad to see you back to music.
Yeah.
Glad to see you in this place. It doesn't feel like a dark place. You've healed a lot of people today. I believe in all of my heart that although this may not be the ministry that you wanted to be in, sometimes people are chosen for certain things. Right now with hip-hop being the biggest form of influence in this nation, and the degrading of women and the controlling behavior that comes through that source of influence, it's going to be a lot of people that's going to be needing the help. And sometimes people are chosen to go through what they have to go through so they can be a voice in a dark place. Amen. And I appreciate you being a voice and educating yourself on this, and I appreciate what you shared with the nation today. And I'm proud of you, man.
Well, man, thank y'all for having me. It means so much that you opened your door and opened the mic for me to be here. And if anybody has questions, I know we ran out of time, but just hit me up on social media. I've been responding to a lot of victims, abusers, and also bystanders, those who know somebody who's been abused or abusing someone.
Man, James Fortune. Man, make some noise for James Fortune. Hanging out.
Love you, man.
Wow. It's the Willie Moore Jr. Show. Stick around, fam.
It's the Willie Moore Jr. Show.